Let's now talk about the ways in which we misuse the law of karma. What is the purpose of acquiring any knowledge? Purpose की है किसी भी knowledge ने acquire करने दा. I believe the purpose of any knowledge, any wisdom is to live a better life, a happier life, more joyful life, more loving life, more blissful life. That is what we want, and that is the purpose of acquiring any knowledge. Now that is also the purpose of understanding the law of karma, so that we can understand the law and use it for our own benefit. But I see that a lot of times we actually end up misusing the law, which means that we end up using the law against us. So our knowledge of law of karma in those cases doesn't really help us, rather it harms us. Let's talk about 3 cases that I have identified in which we misuse the law. The first case is victimizing the victim. कि अगर किसी नाल बुरा हुंदा है, ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ बुरा हो रहा है, तो ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ कि नहीं ਇਹ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਕਰਮ ਹੋਣੇ ਨੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ. law of karma apply ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ. ਸਿੰਪਲ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਬੁਰੇ ਕਰਮ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬੁਰਾ ਫਲ ਭੋਗਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ. Isn't it? Now logically this thing is correct कि अगर किसी नाल भी कुछ भी हो रहा है, that is because of the law of karma, because उन्हें कुछ पुराने एवजे कर्म कीते हुए ने. But now when you are saying these things कि उधर नाल बुरा हो रहा है, so this is right, बुरा होना चाहिए था इस करके हो रहा है, तो उसे इस टाइम केरे कर्म बीज रहे हो. अगर किसी नाल बुरा हो रहा है, you have 2 options. First option is to empathize with the other person, to be compassionate. That is one option. And the second option is to justify his or her suffering. Which option is the better one? If you are sowing the seed for your future in the present, then what kind of seed are you sowing? Which is a better seed to sow? One option is for you to be compassionate, to empathize with the other person, to try to alleviate his or her suffering. But you are choosing the other option. You are choosing to justify his suffering. Now you have to decide which option do you want to go for. I believe this is one of the very common misuses of the law of karma, that we try to justify all the suffering that is happening in the world with this. Instead of being compassionate, instead of empathizing with the people who are suffering, we try to logically justify. ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚਿੜ ਮੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਲਾਅ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਲਾਅ ਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਹੀ ਬੁਰਾ ਹੈ. ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਔਰ ਦੁੱਖ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਕਰਮ ਹੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ. So this is a misuse. Try to think about it. Law of karma just means कि ਤੁਸੀਂ present ਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕਰੋ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ future ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ. So ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ suffering ਨੂੰ justify ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, what kind of seed are we sowing? ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਫਰ ਕਰੀਏ ਲੋਕ ਵੀ justify ਕਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੁਰੇ ਕਰਮ ਹੋਣੇ. ਨਹੀਂ, that's not what we want, and that's what nobody wants. So we shouldn't use law of karma to victimize the victim. कि एक पर्सन ऑलरेडी सफ़र कर रहे हैं ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗਿਆਨ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਕਰਮ ਹੋਣੇ ਨੇ. ਨਹੀਂ, just be compassionate with the other people. Just empathize, just try to do whatever you can do to alleviate his or her suffering. So this is one of the misuses of the law of karma. Let's talk about the next misuse. The second misuse is when you are suffering, you try to apply the law of karma to your own self. You criticize yourself for doing bad karma in the past, for which you are suffering in the present. Just like the first case, it doesn't help. It rather harms. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹੀ bad feel ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਸਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ bad ਕਰਮ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੁਣ ਫਨ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ. It doesn't help. ਉਸ time ਉਸ suffering ਨੂੰ rather than using it to criticize yourself, just look at a different perspective. You know that हर moment इस life ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹ circumstance provide ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੇ growth ਲਈ best ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. Isn't it? So just see how can I grow in this moment. Just be compassionate with yourself. Allow yourself to feel bad also. ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਕ੍ਰਿਟਿਸਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ, ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਬੁਰਾ ਫੀਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਕਮ ਨਾਲ ਅਗਰੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. Yes, you should agree to hukam. You should be happy in whatever is happening. But even if you are feeling bad, you shouldn't feel double bad because you are feeling bad. ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਸਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ, ਦੂਜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਫਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਕਮ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਭੈੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ. ਇਹ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਦ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨ ਹੈ, ਸਦ ਬਖਸ਼ਿੰਦ ਹੈ. ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, you will come out of it. ਇਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨਸ ਵੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ. ਇਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਬੈਸਟ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ. Is there a positive aspect to this situation? Can you make something positive out of it? Try to look at it from that perspective instead of criticizing yourself कि नहीं मैंने बुरा कर्म क्यों किए past ਵਿੱਚ. Now if you criticize yourself, you know that criticism is a negative activity, isn't it? So what kind of seeds are you sowing in the present if you are criticizing yourself? So never criticize yourself. Just as you shouldn't criticize others, you shouldn't criticize yourself. अगर कुछ बुरा हो रहा है, try to see it from a different perspective. Try to see कि मैं इसमें grow किमें कर सकता हूँ. Try to see कि how can I get out of it. Try to look at it from a positive perspective. This is the second misuse of the law of karma, that whenever we are suffering, we start criticizing ourselves for our bad karma in the past. We shouldn't do that, because criticism is a negative activity and it will reap negative consequences in the future. So the idea of the law of karma is that we should sow positive things in the present. And the positive thing when you are suffering is to just empathize, be compassionate with yourself. Now the third misuse of the law of karma is when you are enjoying, when there are positive circumstances, when you are succeeding, then you become arrogant. You say that this is because of my good karma. Instead of becoming grateful, you become arrogant. Now you have a choice when you are surrounded by positive circumstances whether to be grateful or to be arrogant. Now you have to see which is a better choice for you to make in the present. Is arrogance a better choice or is gratitude a better choice? What kind of future do you want? Do you want to be surrounded by arrogant people? And doesn't arrogance come out of your insecurity within, that you are not worthy enough? Think about it. Arrogance is used to compensate for your lack of inner self-worth, isn't it? On the other hand, gratitude is always connected with joy. Whenever you are grateful to anyone, to the universe, to God, you feel joy within. Try to do that. Try to be really grateful. You will feel that. So when you are enjoying good karma, which means that when you are enjoying good circumstances, when you are succeeding, instead of feeling arrogance or pride, try to go for gratitude. So this is the third misuse of the law, that you become arrogant or proud when you are enjoying good circumstances. The idea here is to use the law for our benefit. Knowledge without its practical use is useless, and knowledge if used to harm people is actually worse than useless. The purpose of knowledge is to use for our benefit so that we lead a happier, more joyful life. So we should avoid these three misuses of the law of karma. First misuse is the victimizing the victim. We shouldn't criticize the people who are already suffering. Second is we shouldn't criticize ourselves when we are suffering. Third is we shouldn't indulge in arrogance and pride when we are enjoying good circumstances or when we are succeeding.